So to remove the planetary gears, you just use your snap ring pliers and remove the snap ring. It's best to replace the snap rings when you replace the gear. The gear just pops right out, has a sealed bearing. And you want to replace all three at the same time. So you remove the last snap ring, take off the final gear, and then you want to replace the gears with the new set of gears. The gears come with the bearings already installed. Okay, so when you install your new bearings and planetary gears, you'll notice that on one side there is a snap ring. That's a retaining ring for the sealed bearing. Make sure you install it with the retaining ring up so you can see it when you put it in. And then just take your lock ring, snap ring, and your snap ring pliers and reinstall the snap rings. Once you have the snap rings installed, just pull up on the gear a little bit to make sure that they're locked into the groove. Then you want to reassemble the stator. So the first step would be reinstalling your new axle. You want to insert the keyway and the short end past the shoulder on the axle. It goes into the stator from the back side, which is the side that doesn't have the cable coming out. You just want to line up the keyway and install the axle, and it should press right in. You might need to give it a little tap with the hammer to get it all the way in. Make sure when you're doing that, there's a keyway here in the stator that make sure that that doesn't fall out and just stays in place. You want to take your shell with the tool still installed in it and the screw screwed in. And you want to take the stator and put it in through the thing here, and it'll bottom out on the tool before it gets all the way in. This is for safety purposes. If you don't have the tool in to hold the stator out from here, once it gets to this point, the magnet will draw it in real hard and quick with the snap, and if you have your fingers or anything in there, it will do some serious damage. Then you start backing out the screw, and as you can see, the stator is pulled in by the magnets as you go, and just slowly back that out, and it'll just work its way in. And as you're actually backing the screw out, you can feel it getting harder to turn, and that's because of the force of the magnet pulling the stator, the axle and the stator against the screw. Once the stator is all the way in and the screw is loose, then you can take your 3mm Allen key and remove the screws. Okay, so next you reinstall your sun gear. Just line up the holes because it is a little hard to turn once it's inside because of the close tolerance. So line up your screw holes before you push it in all the way, and just put that in. Then put your screws in. So you just put the 3 screws in. And then just snug them down evenly. They don't have to be too tight, but just snug, like you're installing a water bottle cage on your bike. You don't want them coming loose, but just be careful not to over torque them and strip the bolts. So just put them in evenly all the way around, work all the way around, and snug them down. Just don't torque them too tightly because they're small and you just don't want to take a chance of rounding out the bolt or stripping the thread. But just like if you were putting on a water bottle cage on your bike, it's pretty good standard. It's a 3mm Allen key, so just a light. Just go all the way around and make sure they're all nice and snug. Okay, once you've done that, then you want to reinstall the sleeve that goes inside the sun gear and around the axle. That just goes in. Just push that in. You take the key, the small key, and fit it in the axle. There's a round side and a square side, and just matches the cutout in the axle. Just install that key. What you need to do is you need to push on the stator into the hub to get the axle all the way through there, and then the key will drop into place. So once you push the stator forward and you get the key to drop into place, you just let the pressure off. And the top of the key should be pretty much lined up with the top of the sleeve. If you want to make sure it's set all the way, you can just give it a light tap with the hammer.